Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This show today is special. This is a special lunchtime with Anna. We made no announcement, but we were aware that we were going to do this show over a week ago, I believe. Um, I have, of course, FM, my favorite predator catcher in the whole entire world. He knows that. And I couldn't find anyone more fitting but to have my own personal mentor, Minister Jamie. Now, the reason why you have a different panel here is because I think it's so important for us to get a full grip, right, of what exactly is going on from different angles. So if you could, I'll start with Minister Jamie. If you could tell a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go on to let FM what that whole entire catch was about.
Okay. Well, greetings, everyone. And Anna, thank you for having me on the show, first of all. And it's
Thank
good
you
to
for
be in
coming.
your presence, FM. I watched the show with you. But I'm Minister Jamie Eatmon, and I am on the rise. I have a ministry on the rise network and outreach, and that's about working with people to help them rise above life situations and circumstances. There are a whole lot of people out there that are doing the same thing. I've just used the term being on the rise, something that we can all come under an umbrella should the opportunity avail itself. And you already know what the objective is. We mean business. We want to move people from where they are to another level, almost as like Jesus said, that you might have life and have it more abundantly. So that's what I do in a nutshell.
Bless you.
And you guys, I'm actually on their panel on Wednesdays. It is a very educational show. Even for me, it's helped me grow so much spiritually. So if you guys can tune in, I do share it on all my platforms. They're a beautiful, beautiful couple, and the panel is always outstanding, not because I'm on it, but because there's a lot of great people that have a lot of great things to say, and you can actually feel our Father's presence all over it. So anyhow, now to the man of the hour, and I say the man of the hour because this last catch that he did went worldwide. FM, introduce yourself, introduce what you do. You're a veteran in my panel, as you know, and tell us about this catch.
First of all, I want to say good afternoon to ladies and gentlemen, and Anna, thank you for blessing us to have this moment.
Can you guys hear?
You can hear me? Anna,
Yes,
you good? You can hear me?
I can hear you, FM. You good?
Okay. I'm the founder of New York Creep Spotlight, and what I do is I catch online predators, men or women, preying on our children. So recently I caught a former imam from Long Island. He did go, how should I say, global. Yeah, he was really disgusting. Yeah.
When you did this catch, and I'll tell you guys, normally I'm the one calling FM and being like, hey, great catch, or I'll send them a text or whatever. But this catch in particular, I heard from FM a lot more than usual. Why do you think that was, FM?
What, to contact you right away?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because I know you very involved in your church, and you're an advocate for this, what I do, saving kids from, the dangers of the internet and off the internet as well. Yeah, so I had to reach out to you because I know this story hit every church. Whoever follows in faith, that hit every church because the man that he was involved in both faiths. From what I heard.
And so this is the thing, though, and I want the listening audience to know. When you did this catch, he's Muslim church. He was at JFK Airport in New York. Is that correct?
Yes.
As well as he was a chaplain in the same area of the church. I guess it was an area that they had to. One of the few places across the nation that people are allowed to pray. This individual had a family and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead, Anna. I'm sorry.
I know that spiritually, right? There's just certain things that we should follow, right? Or we should know better, right?
Right.
Is that what touched you the worst?
Yeah, of course. Of course. And I know I reached out to you because I know how, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're very involved.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah,
and
I
see,
wanted you to just spread the word out because I know you're involved in every religion. You friends with plenty of people,
yeah.
in different religions, and they very involved in what you do as well. So, yeah, we spreading awareness through our communities, and the reason I did it too, because he was a leader, a pillar of this community, of his community, of his faith, the Muslim and Catholic, I think it was. So yeah, I mean, men like this should be exposed to the fullest. I caught from drug abusers to teachers, cops, and now one of the biggest. I gotta say he's is because he's supposed to preach the good word, spreading the good love, protecting our children. And he's over here trying to harm our children, you know?
Um, and Minister Jamie, I kind of gave you an overall of this catch. And I probably should have sent you a video. I didn't click until just now. When you made this catch, he was supposed to meet what was a 14-year-old girl in an apartment, but he met you, not
Right,
the decoy.
right,
What I did notice about him was that he was very arrogant, very, very arrogant. I'm like, you get caught doing something, at least have remorse. No remorse whatsoever, at least what I saw from the live catch, because it was live. Um, I think you do have the video down for now, or did it go back up
it's up.
due to an
It's up.
investigation?
No, it's up. It's up.
Okay. So he was arrested. It just so happens to be that the law enforcement officer that came is Muslim as well. And this is nothing against the Muslim religion. Let me tell you guys something, and I've told FM this. Some of the best people that I know are Muslims. And, although we don't agree, right, on our religious beliefs, we also respect each other, a mutual respect and understanding. And Minister Jamie, I think you were from Muslim. Is that correct? Before you became Christian?
Yes, I do have some history with the Nation of Islam. But if because you asked that question, it was asked in that manner, if I may take a second to say this, when it comes down to religion, religion is a problem. Personally, I look at religion as a form of bondage. We're supposed to be about truth. There is no Muslim God, no Christian God. There's a creator, and he's creator of all. So when we get into our little religious discussions, it's just that religion. But when we get into truth, which is what Jesus came teaching, there's a lot less disagreement than people would actually realize. It's just that we wear the religious colored glasses, which tends to, in most cases, blind us to the truth. That was it. I just wanted to throw that little bit behind that question.
Well said.
Um, and I love, that's one thing. This is why I love On the Rise. I love, he says this all the time on his show. And I think that's what gets people in problems, right? The actual religion. And I do agree. Because they bring separation, I believe. And that's why I say some of the best, and you guys will see them if you guys go down my feed, and we have a mutual love and respect for one another. I'm their sister, they're my brother, they're my sister, and that's just the way it goes, because I see salvation. I see beyond all of that. So for you, FM, when you caught him, he was very arrogant. That's safe to say, right?
Right.
How long did it take for you to find out who he was?
Oh man, like overnight.
And you find out through the actual law enforcement side, or was it?
I heard it through the grapevine. Heard it through the grapevine.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You want Go ahead, Ann. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Every time I talk about this catch, it does bother me a lot.
I know this, and that's why I want you to let it out.
Right.
Because I promise that by the end of the show, we'll get as close to a solution when it comes to this as we possibly can with what our Father's giving us. Because I went into prayer before this show. I usually do, but right. I wanted to kind of stay away from everything. I don't know if you guys noticed, I wasn't picking up calls. I might have returned texts because I wanted to make sure that this show went the way it was supposed to go today, putting our Father first. So go ahead, speak your mind, and we'll take it from there.
Well, the encounter itself was, very odd because this is not the first time somebody used different pictures of themselves, but refused to give his real name, refused to give his real phone number, refused to give a picture, a confirmation picture, and his response was, when you see me, you would understand, right? This is before the catch, right? During the conversation with the decoy, how can I say this? Am I saying it right? He was very incestuous, meaning that he was the daddy, fantasies of having, his little girl be the naughty girl for him, basically. So during the confrontation, he was arrogant. Most of them are very scared like that too. There's men that walk that fast and they are scared. They don't want to be found out. They see a camera and they know they're getting exposed. But with him, he was full of lies. My name is not Jimmy. That's the name he gave. Right. His name wasn't Jimmy. Right. That's the first true thing he said. His name is not Jimmy. Right. But he lied about what floor he was on. We gave him a specific door to knock on. He was knocking on the door. It came out to be some of the news articles let out that he was on camera knocking on that door, and he was on the phone with my decoy at the same time. So if his lawyer tries to debunk that, we got evidence, we got solid proof. Okay, so I encountered him in the lobby after he came down. I'm knocking on the door and taking his time because he knew the back of his head. It's over, I would think so myself, but confrontation goes on. He kept on saying it wasn't me, I'm not him. I'm not here to do that. Then I pulled out the chat logs, paper-wise, I had them in my pocket. I bring out, the best of the best of the chat logs, not fully printed out, but I bring out the best that will crush his whole spirits. So during that, I used some of the words that he used in the chat log, and he was triggered right away. Very triggered. Another thing, the reason why I think he was very triggered, it happens to be the decoy name we have. It's public. I mean, everybody knows it. It's Emmy. And happens to be his daughter's name. I can't say her full name, but it's Emmy as well. Right there and then, it's disgusting. Let alone, I can't date nobody having my daughter's names, and I have daughters. It's just weird. It's awkward, very awkward. But and you can see in the video, body language speaks a lot, speaks volumes. Every time I mention something from the chat log, he got tense, turned around, very combative. As me, as calm as I've been, and it knows me as long as I've been doing this. I do have a mouth on me. I learned how to tame it. He was cursing at me the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time. Get the F away from me. Get the F away from me. The only time I got defensive is when he went to snatch the paper and he almost hit my camera. I have 2 footages, but yeah, that's when I told him, I will F you up. I'm not here for this. When I went right back into the mode, because I'm not here for violence. I will protect myself. But again, as the confrontation proceeded, he was very arrogant. Again, he said, I'm came here to see my friend Ali. So I was like, okay, prove me wrong. Call Ali right now and tell Ali you have a situation. He did not do that. He got very defensive again.
Mm-hmm.
We kept walking and walking. I'm trying to, make him stop. Not make him stop. I can't force him to stop, but make him own up to it. Again, if you're not
Accountability.
guilty, you won't run. A guilty man doesn't run.
That's true.
A coward. Yeah. Some of these dudes, don't get me wrong. Some of these dudes, these men, these creeps, I call them, do stay and talk, but they're gonna try to sit there and justify it with lies. To me, they're still coward. You're still a coward. So again, as the confrontation went on, I started, mentioning things from the chat log again. At one point, he did mention to my decoy, "Don't worry, I'll protect you. I'm the tickle monster." Right? So in the video, you hear me say, "Hey, my name is FM. I'm the monster catcher, and you are the tickle monster."
Yeah.
Again, very defensive. Again, you have to watch the video. A lot of people haven't seen it, but yeah, body language says it all. No matter what he tried to do, he couldn't escape it. We proceeded, and 2 youth coordinator officers, came on the scene. Handled the situation absolutely 100% well. I mean, they educated their precinct how this shit went down. Do have the evidence on hand. That's not even a problem. The creeps themselves have evidence themselves. It's their cell phone. You grab their cell phone, that's your evidence. And they did that too. That's why they can't get rid of it. So, yeah, that case was intense, basically. Because at the end, when the officers did have him in cuffs and did search him, he had a switchblade. Yeah, switchblade. The
That's
legal
right.
one.
That's
Yeah,
right. I do
you
remember
have the fold ones that is legal with you have to have certain inches on it. Everybody knows that. It has to be a foldable, a lock, basically. A switchblade is illegal. Is a switch, in and out. A tactical knife, basically. That's what I call it. Again, what I do is very dangerous. And
Well,
he
what I thought of, and when you mentioned that, I just remembered again. What I thought of when that was he going to hurt this young lady aside from a sexual assault? Um,
that's a good question. He was so scared to show his identity. And back of his mind, he was a rock star basically in his community. Maybe he was well known, respected. That's what I heard. So he expected everybody to know him, you know.
Absolutely.
So to me, people do things out of fear, not to get found out.
Yeah.
We don't know his intent after that. If there was a real kid, we don't know the outcome of that story. We don't know if there would have been a little girl on the front page. We don't know this. We don't know this because fear strikes hard. And some of these creeps do things out of fear. They will kill a little kid or a woman or an adult out of fear, not to be found out, because what they doing is illegal, whatever crime it is, basically. You know.
Um, I'm going to go back to the fact that, because I know we spoke of this, the fact that the decoy's age was very close to his daughter's age as well. And this is all allegedly, right? Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just getting
You have
this
to say
information.
allegedly, of
Uh,
course.
very close to his daughter's age, and allegedly the same name as a decoy. What makes that the most difficult for you, FM, with this catch? Because Emmy, honestly, it's not a common name. It's really not.
No, no. I know the full name, but I just can't disclose it. But I'm not gonna do that to them at all. It's not their fault. To anybody that read those articles, do not attack that family. It's not their fault. What he did was deviant, yes, very, but do not blame his family for his actions. You know, and I feel very bad for his daughters. Very bad. Like you said, they're close in age. Similar names. It's disgusting to me that this man, like, right off a grown man, number one, grown man is just disgusting. Number two, the person you're talking to has the same name. So that triggers me. Like, I can't say, oh, I pray to God that he didn't harm his own, because his chat logs seem to me like, yeah, he would. Yeah, he would. That's just me, because I encountered many conversations with many of these lowlifes, and some of them use that word daddy, and yes, they want to be that daddy. It's disgusting. So yeah, I'm just pray to God, that his daughters are safe. Again, please, people, do not attack his family. It's not their fault. Don't go bashing them. You see them in public, leave them alone. It's not their fault. It's not. Do not judge them for their father's actions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have to put that out there. I'm sorry, because some
No,
people
and
are
you're
just so horribly mean, and they speak out of anger and emotion. Again, don't get mad at them.
and I
Console them,
agree
embrace
with
them,
you.
and console them and
Yeah,
embrace them, bring them in.
I agree with you 200%. FM Minister Jamie, after hearing all of this, because I know you've been in prayer just as well as myself.
You want me? I
Where
could
do
read some of the chat logs if you want, to give
yeah,
you an idea.
So let's do this. Minister, would you rather hear first
I could give
chat
you some
lot?
pieces. I could give you some pieces, like bits and pieces of what you know, what he said. Like it's just notes that I wrote down about this guy.
So
Just notes.
yeah, go ahead and go with that, and then we'll have Minister Jamie go ahead and give his response because of his role. He's someone like me who's pretty much very well respected by many people in the community because of the position that he holds. And maybe he can step in from a different point of view that maybe I'm not hitting up. So go ahead, FM. We'll get the few chat logs
I'm just gonna read.
that you have.
I'm just gonna read some notes because I can't. I think if I back out because it's on this phone, the chat logs, that I could read you some notes. As we went
Sounds
along
good.
in the conversation, to give you an idea what keywords he was using, and you get an idea. This is how bad to me this was. Again, it's incestuous. I don't know if I'm saying it right. You could go look it up. But it's somebody attracted to their own strongly, and that would, you know, harm their own. You know. Okay. We started conversating. They greet me first. I never reach out to these men. I do not know these men at all, at all, at all, at all. Because I know in the article, they claim to say I knew him. Some article said that I aimed at him for his religion and stuff like that. First of all, I never met this man in my life. I don't know who he was or nothing. Because if I did know, I would have reported him right away. Right away. And the man in that position, no, 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 no. The church get called right away. Mosque, wherever you at, teacher, we reporting you accordingly. We don't know you. We're gonna find out who you are. But again, we never reach out to these men first. I do not know these men at all, and I always say my age. Always, always, always. I always use 14. Next year we might go lower, but I always use 14 for boys and girls. Again, he greeted me. I greeted him. Said my name. Told him my age. As soon as I said my age, it went sexual. Sexual, very sexual. How would you like to call me daddy in bed? I think it was one of those lines right after that. He loves to be called daddy. This is notes that I wrote. I'm writing. I'm just gonna. He said it should be. He said something, and he said it should. It should be suck, gag, and swallow. These are little things I wrote. Just little notes. I'm not reading the full chat log. He likes to cuddle. He had a fetish with feet. That was another thing. He had a fetish with feet. Now I know why. We all know why now. In the mosque, you gotta be barefoot. Jamie, am I correct or wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong, brother. Don't feel free.
Well, that's something they do that also in certain churches. As a matter of fact, there was a traditional thing called a foot washing, and
okay.
So that's not limited to religion, a particular religion.
Okay, no, I'm just saying, like,
right. I understand.
My thing was, you put it all together. It's like, wow, this man, just connect the dots. You just take it. That's my opinion. My opinion, guys. But I'm just going off my chat logs.
Right.
Listening
to
he was into
okay.
He wanted to use a belt. That's all I'm saying right now. He wanted to use a belt on a little girl.
Right.
He wanted her to be nervous. He wanted her to be nervous. He even told her that prior to the meetup. Greet me at the door like a daddy, like you never seen him before. Wow, he used to call her princess, baby girl. Um, he was nasty of the nasty. He was nasty of the nasty. You take those little things I wrote out, read out to you now, and this is all after I said I was 14 years old. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. He said all this after I said he was 14. He also said a porn picture, Again, it goes to show you his mindset. When I said he wanted to use a belt, I say no more. When I said it should be suck, gagged, or swallow, I'm sorry. Forgive me for using this language, but has to be, this is the type of language that these creeps use. No matter, again, from a preacher to a drug addict. I caught them all. From a cop, in between, teachers, assistant principals, cancer researchers, you name it, I caught it so far. It goes to show you the mindset of these creeps and how they talk after they find out the age of a minor. And it's innocent, and she was a virgin. She played off that she was a virgin as well, my decoy. So, again, it goes to show you how disgusting he even spoke, knowing that she was a virgin.
Yeah.
Then he's supposed. What gets me mad is the people in authority. That gets me more infuriated.
Absolutely.
He was very premeditated, basically.
Absolutely, and I agree. It even upsets me,
And
right?
he acted like he had a relationship with the girl, with my decoy, asking did you treat mommy good today? How was mommy today? Did you treat her bad? Did mommy feed you? You understand that the mindset of him? Again, this is things that he said.
No.
There's are different levels of these creeps. His is incest.
That's a lot.
It is a
That's
lot
a
to
whole
feed,
lot.
a lot to grasp, right?
It
A whole
is
lot of
because,
grasp.
again, for me, I can't imagine talking to a child that way. It's almost sickening. It's almost like he has mental health issues. I will say this, FM.
No, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Anna.
Yeah.
Okay, you said mental health issues. These men are wired differently. There is no cure. I'm sorry. You do your research. Some of these men are repeat offenders. They know how to beat the system through therapy. It's like, some of these drug addicts. They go to therapy. They know how to beat the system. Some do get clean. This is different. This is not drugs. This is not drugs. We caught repeat offenders. There's other organizations that just caught people coming out of jail doing this stuff, going through therapy, lifetime therapy, and they still doing this stuff. And I'm sorry, but I'm not. My opinion, strong. There's no cure. There's no cure.
And I can understand why someone who does this for a living, right? FM doesn't get paid for this. Okay, he does this on his own. Maybe one day on the panel he can tell you guys what really pushed him to do it, right? That's something that when he's ready he could talk about. But Minister Jamie, that was a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know as well as I know, right? That a lot of times we're dealing with things spiritual. We're not dealing with the individual, if that's safe to say. And if you guys know where I'm coming from, I actually have a book that I've been reading. We're on chapter 10, I think, called Spiritual Warfare. But I'll leave you the floor because I just thought it was very important to say that, because I almost feel like they're dealing with something else, even though they're human beings, and maybe it might be for some of us family members that we love and adore, but do these sickening things. So I'll let you speak, Minister.
You know, I've heard a lot there, and I try to be as objective as possible. Not having heard the script, if it was just text, or if you had a face before that, it would almost be like one of those situations where when people ponder the evidence and make a conclusion, then it would be a greater time to really say the things that are being said. Or because at this point, um, as convinced as FM is, it's an accusation. But he knows all the facts and others wouldn't. But I see it as a teaching moment, because in reality, there's a lot of layers to this. Even the title that Anna, you chose, concerning leadership failing, or something along those lines. And when you look at that, we know leadership from a perspective of day to day. We can put a face on it when you use leadership. But the problem you're dealing with, and I agree wholeheartedly, Anna, is it's really not a human one. It's a spiritual one. And as FM stated, spiritual things are much deeper than just the just the surface personal or carnality type issues. When it gets to be that deep, it's a whole nother influence. So when I look at it from that perspective and I kind of see what's going on, I would be more concerned, actually, with how you handle it. Because if you think about it, we get very offended when someone make reference to a black person, and we're all black people. That one person does not define us. So be this person, I, ma'am, or whatever the case may be. That's why I dismissed the religious factor. I definitely wouldn't look solely at Muslim. I wouldn't even look at the religion, because there are a lot of in the closet people in a whole lot of aspects of life.
Can
So
can I say one thing before you carry on?
yes,
These men that I encounter, they don't have no religion. They have no political. They have their own agenda. This is how I
right,
always said it, and she's been on my streams, and I always preach that these men are not part of our society. They have their own party going on. They want to
right.
hurt our children. They want to disrupt our life, our way of living. You know, and it's sad. I mean, again, I don't, I don't condone it. It's in every faith, it's everywhere. It's global. It's a global problem. It's in politics. It's in religion. It's in the precincts. It's in the hospitals. It's in the law firms. It's in the streets. It's in the stores. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. The neighbors, anywhere.
Right. And
You
and
know?
and you're correct about that, and that's what I was about to say. So to associate it with any group, period, it kind of nullifies the fact that we are dealing with individuals, and thank God it's not the normal individual. These are abnormal issues that we're addressing here. I wouldn't know the percentages, but it's good in a sense that there's someone out here doing what you're doing. I kind of wish it was done in a way that it was across every sector of the community, because that way it would probably be much more effective, and the word would go and travel faster, and maybe people would have more fear or hesitancy about doing such a thing. But
See, Jay, I'm cutting real fast. See, me and my organization, we run our program just the way the law enforcement run it. We don't entice no man or woman. We keep our chat logs clean as possible. Just as way the law enforcement would do it to get these convictions, this is the same way we pushing it. because this is a federal and state law. It doesn't have to be a victim, meaning a kid, a physical kid involved. What these men are doing is illegal in certain states and certain counties and certain districts. They do lock these men up. From what we do, they do. Some other precinct districts and counties are not hip to it. They're not educated. From the uppers, they're not educating these precincts and these DAs because it's in the law. There's internet crimes and there's law for these crimes and
Right.
implemented to protect us, our kids, men, women, all of us, especially kids. Number one target, you know.
Right.
Again, we do what we try to do it as clean as possible. And right now, we're doing good. Honestly, they're looking at us. We might get some convictions out of this. They have to set an example because these men are breaking the law. No matter, people like you said, accusation. No, we have proof. We have documents. We have a videotape of this individual committing a crime right now. He came to meet up, or she came up to meet up, who they thought was a kid, a child. There's men out there, organizations that use the age 11, 8, 9, 10, and this individuals getting caught in this. Men that just came home from doing jail time. Again, you know, we try to run it as possible, clean as possible to get these men convicted and get these laws changed, or enforce the law because the laws are there. Enforce it, you know.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Like I was saying though, and I'm running short of time, so if I can get this out, I like to look at everything as a teaching moment because one, if you all are partaking the role or portraying the role of someone that age, that means we have some youth out there that age that are acting in that manner. So that's one area that we need to address. Another is the fact of kind of what you're doing and who these individuals are. It it should shed some light on that we should be a little bit more thoughtful in things. Some people will send their children because this is their neighbor or whatever the case may be. But based on some of your findings, anybody could be this individual that you're actually capturing. So there's some education that definitely needs to take place. And I use the word accusation because if this person goes to court or whatever and they look at all the evidence, I don't know how that would play out. So I'm just using the word in that sense. I know you should be true to your craft and you like to do whatever you do and have your ends tied up before you even go to court. But I'm just mentioning this because my understanding is this person hasn't gone yet, which is why I use the word. So we have to be wise as a community and not be ignorant because when we see someone from a particular group, sect, a walk of life, that individual doesn't represent everyone. He's a male. He doesn't represent all men. Whatever his race is, he doesn't represent it's his entire race. He's a father. He doesn't represent all fathers. So when we say those things, we're looking at the man, but at the same time, I really want to stress that there's a spirit that's in operation. The Bible tells us we war not against flesh and blood. And, that's an easy thing to say, but it's a very deep spiritual thing. And I would leave you, FM, with the thought, what you're doing there's a need for it. I could even see where it might even be a calling. But looking at it and kind of how it's going, in addition to, just addressing the fact of who got caught and what they're doing, somewhere, if you can branch with someone that has the training that can go into communities, the counseling for people that may have experienced that, you serve a much larger population of people. And it'll be, I would say, at least 10 times as effective because not only will you be catching them, you'll also be helping them.
Well, to me, I agree 100%. I think you were saying that, but again, it's up to the district attorneys and uppers. I could go in these precincts and teach these men just coming into the precinct, just graduating. I could teach them how to do this, and they could do their own investigations the way we do it, and how fast they could get these men off the street. But again,
Right.
um, these creeps that we encounter, even okay, when cops do these things themselves, nobody knows who they are. Nobody. They undercover with us. You get caught. You get exposed. Should you get exposed to the fullest? Because what you're doing is being a deviant, hiding behind, you know, and it's just they need to be exposed. Doesn't matter again what walk of life you came from. Doesn't
Right.
matter. It
Right.
doesn't matter because again, the Catholic Church been under scrutiny for years, and this is the first for a lot of people right now. Imam, a Muslim faith, it's new to a lot of people right now. So now it's really a big deal. It shouldn't be a big deal to because somebody is of a pillar. It should make it a big deal no matter who's doing this, no matter what.
Let me
Every person that doing this should be on the front page.
let me throw something at you, FM.
Go
And,
ahead.
and I thought about this. I really wasn't going to mention it until you said everybody should be exposed. When we look at the society we live in, when a person commits a crime or whatever, there's the thought of rehabilitation or doing something with them because you don't get to kill them. So when you say that exposed, it should be known the person should be punished. I agree with that, but I
That's
want to.
exposure is part of the punishment.
Well,
That's part of the punishment.
But see, that from what you're saying, that's sort of your punishment, and I can see where you would think that. But let me finish what I was going to say.
Go ahead.
There's a woman that was actually caught in adultery in the Bible, and the woman could not be dealt with until they got rid of all the people that actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to use this example. You and what you're doing, you're almost like the men that caught that woman in adultery. But in order to deal with that woman and the issue that the woman had, that's why I'm recommending this to you. The people that were the catchers like yourself, they had to leave of their own will in order to allow what took place to take place. These individuals, and that's why I'm suggesting to you, and I wasn't just referring to at the jailhouse. I'm referring to education among schools, maybe if you have a website, a number that you can refer people that have.
Oh yeah, we're working on that. But again, oh man, I expose because when I do expose, there's a lot of victims and survivors out there, and they will recognize it happens.
Right.
So exposure, it plays a big part. It does because some of these men hide for years unnoticed until they do get exposed, as you can see in the papers. You see it.
Right.
All it takes is one person.
Right.
One person, and most of these men have committed their crimes before. I say, no. As long as I've been doing this, almost 2 years, I could say 97, 96 have done it, but never got caught.
Right. I agree. But I have to run. I want to commend you on what you're doing. I would encourage you to seriously give some thought to that networking with other organizations. So by the time you get a show like this, you're leaving a number for the people that have had this already happen that you couldn't get. And that way your message is broader and you're about as much healing as you are catching. But great job. Keep up the great work and have as much compassion as you do zeal. You're doing a great work. It's a needed one.
Yeah, really good one. Thank you. I appreciate. We got to do this again. Definitely. Thank you, Jamie. You have a blessed holiday, and it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Minister Jamie. Your input is always of value to me because you always come in from a different perspective that maybe we don't see, right? Because of our love for the way that this world is running today. And I think you understand me when I say that because I try not to be of this world. That's why I'm not your average.
And that's the key right there. Peace and blessings, you.
Yes. So Thank you so much. I
All right.
appreciate you, and I appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you,
And
Jamie. You have a
FM,
good one. Have a good weekend, a safe one as well.
Yes,
take
and
care.
Merry Christmas to you and Lady
You too.
Antoinette.
All right. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Um, so FM,
Yes.
I was highly disturbed listening to the chat log because I try to understand what are these freaks actually thinking. I have to ask, has he bailed out of jail? Is he back home or?
Oh, they let him out on his own recognizances. He has no record or anything prior. So usually when they let people out like that, it's because they never had a record. They never did anything violent. And again, the reason they let him out again, there's no physical kid. So if it was a physical kid, I'm pretty sure he would have had bail. And we're gonna keep pushing. Hopefully these creeps do get bail. You know, you wasting our time, not wasting our time. Pay up, pay up for real. Y'all shouldn't be walking the streets. They shouldn't be walking amongst us, man. I'm sorry.
What do you think? Do you think him, of course, because he lost his position of leadership, is that information accurate?
Yeah, he lost his position of leadership. It's they know. I have Muslim friends in the bodegas in the hood, and they know some of them know what I do, and they said he's not welcome in the mosque. They can't. They don't welcome their kind. You heard what I said? Their kind.
Well, see, and that's what I originally told you when we first had the first conversation, because it kind of threw me off because that I was aware of. I've never too much seen that take place, and it might, but it's something that it must be kept hush hush. But just to the extreme of the comfort, the sickness behind it, I think is what makes it harder for that pill to be swallowed, right?
Yeah.
With that understanding of, this guy was really in leadership because he was also a chaplain. He did both dually. So when I read that, I'm like, wow. So that's like, I'm a pastor, as many of you guys know, and I turn around and I take a position where I'm also helping people who come from the Muslim religion and kind of help out. So I guess something like what he had, what did they call that? Eatmon?
He's an Eatmon, yeah.
Yes. So I have a position like that as well that I'm very trusted at an airport at that. At an airport.
Check that out. Yep. Terminal 4, one of the biggest in the country, in the world, basically. It said the world or something like that?
Yeah, it is. It's
and he had
one of the busiest airports.
Yeah,
one of the busiest.
He had two businesses. He drove taxis under his name. It's crazy. The more you do digging on this guy's public information, his name is out there. These are things I could tell you because it's out there. It's out there. So those are things I would do and say. But again, leave his family alone. If you know this man personally, his daughters, just leave them alone. If you're not going to help him out, shut up. Keep walking.
Well, absolutely, because it's not the wife. It's not, if he's married or whatever. It's none of their fault. They had nothing, probably no knowledge. It was probably like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
They're already embarrassed as it is. They global. Their dad is global. Her husband is global. When it reached the Russian newspaper, then I was like, oh, it's over. Yeah. It's over.
No, and it was like all newspapers. It was like all over because I looked it up. I was like, wow.
A lot in the Turkish community because he was Turkish. Then again in the Muslim community as well. But mainly in Turkish. But Europe, Anything had to do with it, it's big. It's like if I would have caught somebody in high power in the Catholic Church, it would have been the same response. It would have went probably around the world, Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
If you could do anything different with who that catch was, is there anything you would do different?
On that catch? Wow. Yeah, catch him at the door knocking. I thought I was gonna catch him at the door knocking, but he hid somewhere in the side, so I didn't get the chance to see him knocking on the door. Yeah, because it would have been way more better. He would have never escaped the way he did. He would have just faced the music probably. Who knows? It could have went either way. But again, remember he had a switchblade on him, confined space. You never know. He thinks he's probably not being recorded. You never know. Things happen for a reason. So, again, you just asked that. No, I wouldn't have changed it. It played out the way it should have, and he's been exposed to the fullest.
Is there a court date yet for him?
I think it's the 25th or something like that, the 22nd of next month.
Okay. Will you be there?
I can't. I ain't gonna be there. No.
I wish we were closer, FM, because I promise you I'd show up to these court dates. That's what I do. I'm a human justice activist as well. So this one hit hard for me. And I'm going to tell you, he's caught people in law enforcement that make you wonder too, right? Because they're in leadership as well. They're in positions where they're respected, so to speak. And it's almost like the betrayal of the badge or the betrayal of whatever it is that you do, your certification. I have mine back there. It's that betrayal of people trusting you, right?
Yeah.
So,
can I ask you something before you go on? What you think would have happened if I would have had my decoy there in person?
The scary part of that is that, first of all, he had a knife.
Right.
I don't know if his frame of thought would have been to use a knife to make sure that she went along with what he wanted. And she was a 14-year-old. I will say that. I will say, I know you wouldn't have let it get that far. But just the thought, I'm not sure if you saw a video where they had a decoy. It was, I think, on YouTube somewhere. They had a decoy, and she looked a lot younger. I think she was about 30. But they used this decoy, and they were luring guys to the hotel. Well, what had happened was that this guy, as soon as she opened the door, he pushed her directly on the bed and was about to take action. We'll just say that. All of this was being videotaped with undercovers there and stuff. And it's just the idea of how wrong that could go.
And it can have happened, I would have loved to have my decoy there, because we know how to work together, But I think it would have been very interesting to see the look on his face. Everything would have played out differently, Maybe he would have stayed and talked because he's red-handedly caught, as daylight. Again, who knows? Things happen for a reason.
But see, his personality also seems like he would have no remorse. From what I saw on the video, you've done catches, and I look at almost all your catches, right? So you've done catches where they really show remorse. Even if they're dipping, they show remorse. This one was different, in my opinion. Very, very different. Almost like I'm untouchable because I am who I am. I lied to you about everything. As if when the cell phone got confiscated, the police would not be able to backtrack any apps or anything, even if they deleted it, because nothing is deleted. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's It's tough. It's tough because I feel like, in my opinion, right, you got a wild one ticking time bomb out of the streets, because, you know, it might start with being very pushy, like those texts show. I'll use that word tonight, use vulgar language, right?
Right.
Very pushy, and wanting to do certain things to it escalates. Because things that, I mean, let's be realistic. Let's look at serial rapists. Let's look at serial killers. It's things like that.
Right.
And to me, in my opinion, and again, these are all allegations. We won't know anything till court happens, what the judge says or whatever. But in my opinion, if somebody is that comfortable, this isn't your first time.
No, of course not.
That's
Again,
scary.
even if his lawyer tried to push it, we have phone calls documented his voice, because his lawyer trying to say a lot of things. You know, they're gonna say what they want to say. Of course, they're gonna make me try to look bad. No, I got everything documented from A to Z, phone calls, you name it. We got him guilty. As soon as I pulled out my chat logs, the paper version, the people see it on right now. You can see as soon as I pulled it out, and as soon as I said baby, he turned around and tried to swing at it. Come on. Come
And
on.
yeah, and you usually do that when you're guilty. I will say it's just human nature. One of the things, anybody who knows, because I've interviewed FM here
Another thing,
so many times.
if I ever do a sting house like that with a live decoy, they would never ever answer the door like that. No, we try to intercept. You know, I try to intercept him before he went upstairs, because it's all about safety. Safety comes first, you know. And I love Emmy, so nothing's going to happen to Emmy. That's the first thing, you know.
Well,
Safety.
I guarantee
Safety.
you nothing's going to happen to Emmy, because Anna's protecting Emmy too. You better leave my Emmy alone. I love that. I love Emmy, even though I don't know Emmy. I love her to pieces. And I'd love to have her on here at one point or another, if you're okay with that, FM, and she's okay with it. Of course, she does not have to be on camera, because I'd just like to know from a woman's perspective, when you do this, what, you know, where is she coming from? Why? You know what I'm saying? And why the passion and all that good stuff. But I have to say something, FM. And tú sabes que one of the things I love about FM, and he knows this, is his sarcasm, because anybody who knows me knows I am sarcastic.
A lot of people ask me, like, when he reached in, why didn't you do nothing? I was like, no, the old FM, you know, I want to get these men convicted and charged. Me beating him half to death, I'm going to get convicted and charged. You know, people don't understand that. What good am I in jail? You know, and again, I didn't feel like he was a real physical threat. I know how to handle myself. You know, I'm not professional. I just know how to defend myself very well. You know, again, I wasn't there for violence, even though when people see that, oh man, you should have did this, you should have did that. I'm like, you should go out there and show me how to do this then. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm showing the DAs and the cops that safety does come first. If I have to protect myself, if I feel like one of these creeps, you know, is going to harm me physically, the camera's going off and I will defend myself. Honestly, I will. That's the only time. But again, I play my distance, you know. You got to be smart at doing this. Not everybody could do this. You got to know when to be close to these men, these individuals. A man like that, scared, a trapped rat, you either going to jump at you or they're going to run. And he was on the run. There was a couple of times, you know how a rat does, like they try to make you flinch. He ain't making nobody flinch. I'm not scared. Let's keep walking. Just keep
Well,
walking, you know?
anybody who knows Puerto Ricans, we already have a fiery temper to begin with. So we're like, excuse me, who are you doing that to? I don't think so.
I even told them, if I'm here for that, I know I could take you. You know, I use tactics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean
Well,
it. I
you've
know
been
how to
doing
handle
it for a
myself.
while.
Yeah. But again, I'm not there for violence.
Absolutely.
We're not
One
there
of
for
the things
violence.
that you said, and maybe you could word it better, but me and my 18-year-old just started cracking up because I was like, este FM es un loco. You said, well, how you like them apples?
I gotta thank, you know who I got that from? Big
Who?
Pun, baby. Big Pun. How you like them apples? And I can't repeat the rest of it. I got that from
Man,
Big Pun, definitely. I love Big Pun. Rest in peace.
yes. Rest in peace,
Another
Big Fun.
Boricua, you know. Again, it just comes out naturally. I forget the camera is rolling, you know. It's just me being me. Because if you
So
know
to
me,
me,
and it's just me being me. It's funny.
so to me, that's my favorite part of FM. Like I'm like, okay, what he does is amazing, and mad props to you always. You know, you have Lunchtime with Anna's full support, and you know, I'm dying. I'm still here in Florida right now. I'm dying for you to come out
Well,
and we collaborate.
we spoke about that, me, Emmy, and somebody, a couple of people behind the scenes, and next year we coming.
And I'll be waiting. I'll be
Oh,
waiting.
for sure, for sure. And I know your daughter's stoked and she wants to help out as much, but we already spoke and she understands, you know.
Yeah.
And anything, it's good that your daughter is involved in this too, like the movement, because you know what, it's her peers at that. You know, even though they're 18, they're still babies, you know, and they
Absolutely,
have
because she
younger
just
friends and
turned
they got to spread
18.
the word, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And again, um, it's not also the creeps, it's also the teenagers.
Absolutely.
Let's keep that
Absolutely.
real,
And that's
guys.
what Minister Jamie was
This
saying
is the
too.
truth.
Mm-hmm.
There's girls out there looking for love in the wrong places, even boys, even the boys. I'm telling you now, boys and girls looking for love in the wrong places. You know, it's sad, but it's true. You know,
So,
this
you
is
know, I'm going
when
to ask you every show.
go ahead,
And because education to me is most important, right?
go.
What is your advice to parents as well as to the minor
Well, to the parents,
caretakers?
honestly, yeah, to the caretakers. We say it like that because you know they are caretakers, men and women, dads, moms. Um, pay attention to your kids. Um, take them off social media. We grew up without it. They're not gonna die. Get them into some activities. Go through their phones, clone it. There's programs you can look up. You know, it's right in there. You you bought their technology. It's yours. The same way you buy their clothes, you're the owner. They don't run nothing. They need a parent. They don't need friends. Especially now, at times like this now, they need you more than ever. I don't care if your kid is 18. You think he's an adult or she's an adult. No, they're still babies. I still look at 21-year-olds, babies. You know, go through their
I think
phones.
that you're a baby till you're 25 at least.
Yeah,
Honestly.
just I mean, it depends. You know, the men on their mind capacity. Some are smart individuals that know how to. They are very mature for their age and know how to conduct themselves very well. You know, there's 20-year-olds that more sophisticated than 40, 50-year-olds. Well educated at that. Again, they're still babies, but they know how to carry themselves very more mature. And they won't do that sick stuff anyway, you know. Um, again, for the parents, be a parent, not a friend. Clone their phones. If you have that energy to go through your partner's phone to see if they cheating, and your kid is right there in the next room on the device, you have a problem. Go through your kids' devices. Go see who they chatting with. because that's where it's at. Even in the gaming world, it's not only in the dating apps; it's also happening in games. Anything with messaging, going back and forth, any platform. Pay attention. Pay attention to your kid. Know the signs. Don't be scared to go through their shit. I mean, excuse me, sorry for the language, but yeah, don't be scared. You own it. You own it, clone it, baby.
And I was meaning to do this before we aired. Do you know what any of those apps are at all? And I keep meaning to
I
check them
forget.
out so that I can let the parents
Well,
know.
you can find these apps in your Google store or in your iTunes, your iStore, whatever, Apple Store. But there are apps, especially if your kid is on your plan. Yeah, automatically, yeah, automatically, it's yours. Don't forget, it's yours. They don't pay bills. Once they start paying their own bills, okay, you don't go through their thing, but as long as you're paying that bill, it is yours. Let them cry blood. They don't cry blood. My fault. My fault. I'll break it. Honestly, you want to cry for it? I'll break it. Now nobody wins. I don't got it. You don't have it. Life goes on. Next. It's true. I'm sorry. I'm just.
That's right.
Because times is right now, like, it's just wild, man. And our kids need us.
So,
Y'all look in the newspaper, just look at it, man. That's crazy.
So I want to play something real quick.
Go.
Hang on. And I'm hoping that you guys can hear it. I'm going to fast forward it a little bit because I want you guys to get a little taste of how this catch went. Can you hear it?
What? Also, why you here? What's your real name? What's your first name? I don't even know. If you was your real first, you would have been like, yo, bro, come downstairs and somebody harass him. You ain't doing none of that. Stop the bullshit. I've been doing this for a long time. Long time. Guilty is. Guilty, bro. Welcome to my world. I'm good at what I do. Yeah, shout out to Eddie. No, I want to know what you think is all good. Coming out here, let's have a talk. Why you keep saying you did it? Why you keep saying you did it with your head? I'm going to pull out the phone then. Prove me wrong. Pull out the phone. I'm right here. It's in my hand, stupid. Come on, holler at me, baby. Welcome to the Bronx.
Did you have any spectators that day?
Somebody calling the cops?
Well, I was doing a live stream, but I don't entertain the stream. I'm me. I forget my phone is in here. I know it's recording, but I'm not entertaining nobody. I'm just being me naturally. That's what I do. If you know me in person, I'm a funny guy. I like to goof around. I pull pranks. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just funny. But I do not entertain the nonsense at all. He drove 2 hours. 2 hours. He drove 2 hours to the Bronx.
Wow.
And he parked in front of the school somewhere. Ooh.
Yeah. There's laws against that as well.
Yeah, because we did our research behind the scenes and we went looking for the car, and I'm like, I think I seen it. Then I want to go back, it's gone. I'm like, damn, it's gone. I guess he had somebody come pick it up. Because we good at what we do behind the scenes, honestly. When we do our research, we make sure we got the right person, and because we can't go around accusing anybody of this heinous act.
Yeah.
A lot of we will definitely ruin somebody's life, innocent life, of accusing them of this, So we make sure everything is lined up right, everything is accurate, all our information is on point, whatever you want to call it. But we good at what we do. We are good at what we do.
So the police officers just came and they arrested him.
Yeah, I think somebody had called or something, but they handled that situation to me, honestly, perfectly. Honestly, I think it should be done like that. They did it like that with us in Atlantic City. Why why New York can't be no different? We are the biggest city in the world. We gotta we setting standards. We gotta, you know, tell people no, we're not tolerating this. When you come over here, y'all welcome, but come well. Respect. Don't do this dirty stuff, man. Like we gotta make an example. Cause honestly, they'll give you a summons for hopping the train. These dudes, most of these dudes walk away. When I first started doing
Exactly.
this,
Yeah.
cops walk coming up, got evidence and all. They just let them walk away. But you hop in, you running late for work, you hop the train and you got the fare money, but you just run to catch that train. They stop you. They argued you committed a crime. So did these men. Worse than hopping the train. Honestly. So they got to treat this again. This is a crime. Felonies. Felonies. You know?
Did you hear what I played earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Now
heard it.
I fast forwarded it to about 16 minutes and 24 seconds. Listen to this, and I want to know what you feel. What you're feeling, your sentiment
Well,
after.
okay. um, those words will come back to haunt him for the rest of his life. Because you know what? Our cameras was recording.
Right.
Our cameras were recording. What you do will come to light, brother. And there's more to that. I got another clip, but I didn't put it in there. But yeah, hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. He will never forget.
You'll never
You
forget
know?
FM.
Hey, he will never forget me. He'll never forget Emmy ever. Ever,
Oh,
ever,
or
ever.
enemy.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
for sure.
She's the one that spoke to him on the phone, so
Yeah.
the voice is so
He'll
convincing,
never forget your followers as well, because your
Never forget your
followers are
followers, yes.
awesome.
For sure, they're awesome.
FM,
Yes.
are there any catches that you're very close with, or are you on a break? I don't think you ever go on a break. I think you're like me. I don't
Right
think you ever do
now,
hiatus.
so, I'm gonna work. I grind, right? And I got somebody on my radar. Um, I'm just gonna keep it like that. I don't want to jinx it, but it just goes to show you, you know? It just goes to show you there's no cure.
Yeah, but I want you to keep this, y te digo esto como tu hermana, ¿verdad? Tu hermana, tu amiga, and just somebody who highly respects you. And I don't highly respect everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's a
Right.
very few elite. That's how I look at it. One thing I want you to keep in mind, and I'm as soon as I get done with the book, I'm going to share it with you. I hope you're a reader. If not, I'll send it to you on Audible so you could at least listen to it. Sometimes what we fight is beyond that individual. It's beyond a drug addiction. It's beyond an alcohol addiction. It's beyond lusting. It's beyond so many sins out there. These people actually have demons around them, and it's spiritual. It's the good and bad. It really does exist out there, although many people don't believe in that at all. It really does exist, and I've gotten to the point where I discern those things in people, and I have told myself I'm not dealing with this individual. I'm dealing with the spirit. Does that make sense?
I don't know. Because to me, they empty. They soulless. Honestly, that's how I feel. There's people think is I forgot to mention this too. You follow Judd, you know, the judge. Recently he did a sting and the organization caught somebody that was 18 years old. It's not even the guys, again, I don't go after 18, 19-year-olds and all that because I think they're still babies, but that little thing opened my eyes. 18 years old looking at babies, Pampers,
Well, there's
there's
been guys that
it's I
do
don't
it
know.
to their infants.
Yeah, to me, like you have no
That's
soul.
disgusting. Like,
You
I mean,
soulless.
it's all horrible, but
You soulless. You soulless.
yeah,
Honestly.
but también, and I'm gonna share the book. I really hope you take the time to read the book because maybe it'll give you a different light. And it's not that you're saying you're a good person because that's not at all what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that you're dealing with things spiritually. And I think that many of us have gotten away from that, right? And to where we're just like, you're the devil. You know what I'm saying? But,
Right.
and what Jamie mentioned earlier was true, the adulterer. And I'm sure many of you guys remember the story. She was committing adultery and they brought her up and, they're ready to stone her, whatever, as it was in those times. So then Jesus gets up and he says, if one of you guys are without sin, go ahead. So everyone put it down and told her to go on, just quit sinning.
To
Do
me,
you think that that's possible with them?
No, because imagine if a story was different. Let's just say the story was different. It was a man or woman harming a baby. Would he have said that?
I don't
Honestly,
know.
I don't, to me, this again, this is my opinion. This is just me saying this.
Mm-hmm.
There's no cure for this. These individuals are highly sick. And if they had a chance, if there was no law, our kids would be missing daily, minute
And
by
they
minute.
are.
And they
And
are
they
right
are
now. No,
already.
but that is, to me, that's at a slower rate. Imagine without law.
Yeah, that's true.
Just think about this. I'd rather break bread with a murderer than that worst of life. Honestly, because it goes to show you, man, like people don't understand. I'm not the only one doing this. If y'all follow people that do what I do, they catch people, repeat offenders that did 30 years, 40 years, come home and do the same thing over and no. At least a murderer gets a chance at second life because he took a life, most of them, if they had to, and their life has changed. These men come out and do it again and again. Or the therapy, there's no such thing. If people who are new to my channel and my YouTube channel, New York Key Spotlight, go check out the video called Angel Silver. He wasn't an angel. Go look at that video. Please. It goes to show you. This is just going off of dealing with almost 100 men, creeps, dealing with them, soulless, remorse. They have no remorse. None. Some admit, yeah, I watch child porn. Some admit, I'll do it. I would have did it. They hurting your child. I'd rather.
Well, see,
I'd
they
rather
also
do
have
what somebody did.
undercover. They also have underground things where they
Of course, it's
have
deep.
our children's pictures.
It's deep.
It's what they call the black. Oh gosh, you remember Shem?
Yes.
I love Shem. I need to bring him back on here. I need to reach out to him.
It's the dark web. Everything's on a dark web.
Yes, that's what they call it, the
The
dark web. And
you know,
that's crazy. Who would even think? Like, my mind's not even there. That's sick.
you have
Very
millions of
sick.
members on these websites, millions of members watching babies getting tortured, assaulted, physically abused, raped, strangled. You know,
Wow.
it's deep.
It is.
So you telling me I'd rather have deal with an adulterer, somebody that cheated? I'd rather them walk amongst us any day of the week than have them demons, deviants, monsters sitting at my table. That's just my opinion. You take it and you run with
And
it.
if somebody really came to you and said, you know what, FM, yo hice este error. I made this error. I did my time. However, I no longer commit these kind of acts. I'm a changed man or woman, because women do this too, and I always say it. What does FM say then?
I say, honestly, from my experience, bullshit. Honestly, that's just me. These, they will, they again, they could say they reformed if they had a chance. They'll do it because it's in them. It's worse than drugs. Drugs, yeah. You come to me, be like, yo, FM, I just came out of this program of drugs. I'm clean, brother. Watch me. I'm gonna be like, you know what? I think I got faith in you, my brother or my sister. Because you know what? That's a drug. You could overcome a drug. That's an addiction. You can overcome it. It's proven. Hell yeah. But that heinous act, percentage, for me and other guys that do this, I think I speak for all of us. They'll do it. If the opportunity rose, regardless, they come to me and be like, hey, FM, I'm reformed. I seen the light. Nah, nah. Again, go check out that Angel Silver catch.
And I want, while I have you here, and you know, this is something we're going to be working on 2022. You know, I always try to do the right thing. Somebody recently reached out to me, and they just so happen to be special needs, on the AU autism spectrum disorder.
Right.
They're a little bit higher functioning, but their brain mentality is kind of like Nathaniel, you know.
Oh yeah, we spoke about
younger.
this. Right.
Yeah. One of the things is this person right now has charges of those sorts. This person with a disability was taken into jail because a parent of this, they were very close in age, teenager, decided to call law enforcement, which I'm totally against parents that do this as well, because you ruin somebody's whole life. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
And FM agrees with me with this, because there's certain circumstances where that's not a cool stamp, and that's not something cool at all to go to prison for or jail, right?
Right.
So this person is check marked with this, or like a red check mark, right, with this type of charge.
Right.
But what we're working on, and hopefully I can have you along with other catchers out there, unite with us as a human justice organization to make a federal law where certain things and certain mental states, and I'm not talking about faking the funk, I'm talking about you were always disabled. You're not getting charges, because in the case of this person in particular, and you know, I can't say names or whatever, they're on the autism spectrum. he never once asked the girl to send the picture that she sent. But when the parents called because of the pictures that the daughter had sent, he was then charged with, I forget what the exact charge is, but it's holding where you have in your device pornographic material of a minor.
Right.
That's a very serious charge. Their whole life is really ruined. They're very young. At this point, I think he's 22, 23 years old. He was a lot younger than him. He was like 18, just turned 18 or 19. Can I count on your support for these circumstances, right? Because we're out here to catch the bad guys.
Right.
But those circumstances, I also tell myself, what if that was my Nathaniel and a girl just sends him something he's not even there?
See,
you know what I'm saying? He don't care.
This is when parents themselves that have kids with mental health issues like that, they need to be monitored. Monitored. Because their mind capacity, they still thinking they can. It's true. We I caught dudes on the spectrum, but they knew what they was doing. There's a difference. They knew.
Oh yeah, you did catch a dude like that. I do remember that.
Yes. There's a couple of catchers that caught dudes like that, and we treated them differently, and they, again, it's monitored. You got to monitor. These men got to be monitored. With those guys are different. But we're talking about individuals that don't know that they 23 and they act like they still 10, 11, 12. Them,
Absolutely.
they think it's normal talking to a kid because they mentally function as a 12 or 13-year-old. So again, this is when the parents have to step in, make sure they're not on social media.
So do you blame the parents?
Huh? I would have
to. Is it safe to say that you blame the parents?
I would have to say yes, in some degree, yes, because they know.
I don't let Nathaniel go on social media at all without me standing right there, and all he really is allowed to get into, because you can put things to block him from getting into certain things. He's allowed to watch things like cars, Google things like that. He is not allowed to, because even in YouTube, and I know this was a big deal a few years ago, sometimes your children would be watching cartoons and these predators would upload a little bit of porn to start putting that already in their mind. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. So, that's why they always say watch what your children are watching around.
Yeah.
I will say this, as a mother of a special needs teenager, because he just turned 17 last week.
Right.
I agree with you 200%. And when I spoke to the parent, that's what I told the parent. I said, we need to make sure that we give them very limited time. And we're watching. Although they're adults, we're watching, because this is every parent's worst nightmare. Can you imagine with him being special needs, his mentality's a lot younger, how bad it went for him in jail?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to know.
I could imagine.
I don't even want to know. And the girl was like 16, almost 17, but it was just a state law in that state in particular.
It doesn't matter if she's 16 going on 17 in a day. She's still 16, Again, to avoid situations like that, the parents make sure their messages are off. Take them out of any chat rooms. If you catch them in a teen chat room where they're not supposed to be at, deactivate. Check their phones instantly. Their messages. I mean, there's so much ways. So the parents with kids with special needs, to that degree, that even their child is in their 20s and their mind capacities at 12, you are still held responsible for them, for their actions. You could be punished. Because if they go out there and commit murder, you could be charged accountable for that, because you're not watching them.
Well,
You
see,
know,
and that's my big thing. I want to spread awareness.
exactly.
Along with spreading awareness, I would also like parents to understand we've got to watch what our children are doing. FM will tell you because we speak very often off air, off when he's there on air and off when I'm on air. I told him, and he's told me about how his children are. And I told him, there's no privacy in my house. You don't lock doors in my house. It doesn't exist. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's the Latino culture or what, but that doesn't exist in this house.
You just being a mama, you being a lion, just correcting the cubs.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. And if you don't like it, you can wait till you turn of age and you can move out and do your thing.
We call that motivation at its best.
We call that, I run this house, I wear the pants in this house, and no one else does. But
true.
But yeah, no, I like the way you say it better. But you know, I've always been really big on that. Even Nathaniel, 17, he's like, Mom, to the second, Mom, can I have computer time? And I'm telling him, or he'll say, computer, please. And I'll tell him, Nathaniel, what are you going to get on? He'll let me know. And I'm like, you need to stay here. And truthfully, even if I give him an hour of computer time, it's done in increments of maybe 15, 20 minutes at a time, where I have the time, right? I'm always in the middle of something with them. So where I have the time to kind of keep an eye and make sure he's not getting somewhere he's not supposed to be.
Right.
Curiosity kills a cat. And we as parents have to be one step ahead, especially with disabled children, disabled adults, because that's a messed up charge to have. But we're working on hopefully getting it federal to where there's just a tad more leniency against people like this. But I think you're right when you say parents should be held a little more accountable. I agree.
I agree. Honestly, because you know your kid more than anybody else. Absolutely. You know, when you was a baby, the mom used to put the gates at them doors and it's all safety. That's how they got to treat kids with special needs. You got to put the gates at the door, check their phones. You got to be one step ahead, 10 steps ahead, never be behind.
There's parental control apps that the parents can use with their children.
You will get alerted when they get a message or something.
Absolutely.
Turn off, disable their messages. Who they need to talk to. All the people they need to talk to is right there in front of them. There is to talk to nobody.
Exactly. You don't need it I'm your friend.
But it's true though, because we're talking about special needs, even with kids. There's kids that go, that are not disabled. They go on apps and they don't know what they click, and all of a sudden they're talking to a stranger. The stranger's grooming your kid all of a sudden. You don't even know it. By accident. Being curious.
Yep.
Your kid doesn't know any better.
But you as a parent should. And there's access to all this stuff. I actually told a parent a few months ago, I won't say their name, their family member sent me a request. The thing was the name. The name that 8-year-old child had is unacceptable. And I said, you guys need to follow up and check that this child is not doing this, because Georgia is one place, and that's FM, where they just steal them like hotcakes. And they're in that dark world.
That's sad.
And that was via Instagram. And they were telling me they were more embarrassed than anything. And like I told them, no need to be embarrassed. Better for me to approach you, who's doing it with all the love in the world, than have somebody else have the child taken away and raped repeatedly by different men and women, because women do this too in this dark world.
Yes, they do. Imagine if, you're not that kind of person. Imagine if it could have been done easily. It could have been done easily. See how
Did
easy
you
that could have
watch
been
the
done?
last Rambo?
The what?
The last Rambo movie?
No.
You should watch it. It's about that. And let me tell you one thing. That movie reminded me of who I would be if my children were ever in that situation. Watch it when you get a chance. I don't really watch TV, don't have time. But that one, I did take the time to watch it. Prepare yourself emotionally for the roller coaster because
You know
it
what?
deals with sex trafficking.
It's real though. People don't understand. They try to normalize it, sugarcoat it. No, it's not normal. It's not normal. Number one, innocent. These kids, innocents, man. Women too. Grown women, grown innocents. Because yes, grown people do get trafficked, human trafficked. Not only kids, men and women too. More women, but I'm just
Absolutely.
saying. Um, it's a global
So I
problem.
would see men more things like that happening to them when they're either younger
Probably,
or
yeah.
if not, if they're disabled. I can see that happening and these animals taking advantage of the
Yeah, I
situation.
can see that happening, especially in the dark web. Anything goes. I can see that taking advantage of a grown, handicapped individual, man or woman. I can see that happening. It's sad, but it's true.
It's the truth, unfortunately, that's the
It is.
reality of these sick, twisted individuals. So you
Yeah.
mentioned you have one catch you're working on. We're not going to jinx it. We're not going to jinx it. Con el permiso de Dios lo vas a coger. Con el permiso
Um,
de Dios lo vas a coger o la vas a coger. O los vas a coger. Because women are more, FM will tell you, he's caught women. Women are a lot more careful than men doing this
yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
A lot more careful. So you got to think that they're going to
You're
come in
more
more
calculated.
grooming you. Yes.
Calculated.
And yes. So for me, I look forward to him catching because I know that they do exist out there. And I've seen cases while I've been out here in Florida a few times that the women were the ones that groomed these young ladies and brought them over to the pimp or whatever would have been,
That's
whatever
how
they
it
call them in
works.
that world.
That's how it works. They
And it's
find out
such.
that loner, point them out, talk to them, groom them, and all of a sudden, Katie's gone, Jessica's gone, Keisha's gone.
Horrible. That's
You know,
horrible.
again, it doesn't matter what color, race, nothing. It can happen to anybody. Anybody.
And actually, if you look to see one of the counties that's very close to where I live at in the outskirts of Atlanta, I'm always posting because there's like a missing child every other day or every day, or at least sometimes we've seen up to 5 missing a day. It's scary. It's very scary. And I just thank God that my children are now practically adults, right? But you still have to worry because it's still, they take adult women. My son is special needs. I have more to worry about than the average folk. But I will tell you guys what, my 18-year-old does carry. She makes
Ah,
sure she is safe. It won't be that easy to take her.
nice. Nice.
It will not be that easy. And in the case of Nathaniel, I can't do the same for him
You know
because he is
what's, you
disabled.
say that about your son and his disability. There's a lot of kids in New York that you know, with autism and all that, wander off, wind up going missing.
I
Now you
know.
tell me who got them. You know,
I know. And the worst
it's
part
sad.
about that, yes. And I'll
So
tell you,
you,
I had somebody I interviewed, they would go and feed the homeless. She was telling me a story about how her parents had passed away and a big sister kept her disabled younger brother. I don't know what disability he had, but they saw him, and she really felt like a love for him. He kept thinking his sister was coming back. They kept beating him up and taking all his stuff. Can you imagine being out on the street? The hell you go through.
It's scary. It's scary.
She just
I
she couldn't take it. You know, why not drop him off at a nursing home where he may be safer? It's not promised, right? Because those places are just as horrid as the sex trafficking world. Some of them, some individuals that work in those places. But can you just imagine what if she would have just done things a little bit different for her brother? I can't even imagine what the mother is thinking
I don't know.
today.
I'm speechless. I wouldn't know. I don't know.
It makes you wonder, you know, some of these individuals are scarred for life, you know. But with that being said, how can this listening audience reach you, order merchandise, watch your shows, follow you, so forth, so on what platforms? And I thank you for giving advice to these parents and individuals how to keep safe. I recommend that you have each of your children with a taser and pepper spray until they turn of age. Teach them martial arts to defend themselves. And I guarantee you it won't be so easy for these creeps, monsters, as as FM calls them.
Okay, you could follow me on the group and Facebook groups. I'm sorry, Creep Spotlight. If not, you can follow me on YouTube, New York Creep Spotlight. You'll find all my links to merch, contribution links if you want to. You can also become a channel member. You know, exclusive stuff. Like if I do a live cast and I put it private until I edit it, you have full access to that when you become member channels. It's pretty cool. And yeah.
And I'll tell you guys, it's pretty cool when he goes live, because sometimes they just give updates, and he acknowledges just about every person that goes on there. I always see it, and I'm like, man, you know, not everybody does that. Not everybody does that.
I try to interact with the stream as much as possible, because without them, my channel will be a dead channel. I will have videos and nobody's spreading awareness. And I'll just tell it how it is. And people like it, you know.
So follow him on YouTube. Follow him on Facebook. Is that the only two platforms that you're on?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram as well too.
Instagram. I forgot Instagram.
Yeah, I forgot. Creeps_spotlight. You can follow me on there. Again, if you're missing want any links, some of my links are posted on my Facebook group page. If not, you go to my YouTube channel and you'll find everything there.
Also, if you guys like to, he does all of this out of his own will, and you guys pray about it and find it in your heart, send him a donation.
Yeah. Thank you. And Anna should know better. We do not call them donations. We call them contributions.
Contributions. I'm sorry. Contributions, and that's right.
If anybody wants to, it's Cash App. They can just do it $ FM 6969, and everything goes right back in, man. Because to memory cards, to copy and paper, because I do make copies and chat logs and for evidence and all that. Everything does come out of my own pocket. But contributions are welcome any time of the week. We appreciate you, and thank you.
I need to start getting into. I need to start remembering to say that, you know, because I have a nonprofit as well, my human justice organization. Right. I need contributions, and I say that. So you guys know what I mean. So you guys know to contribute to FM and his cause, because like I said, he does this all on his own. Emmy does this on her own, and anybody else who helps behind the scenes that he doesn't necessarily say their name, but they know what they're doing. behind
Yes.
closed doors. I think those are the most helpful people, the ones we don't even mention, because
Those are the most dangerous ones, and I love them.
yes, yes, absolutely.
Not knowing is
Bueno,
just the best.
absolutely, absolutely. Bueno, enjoy your Christmas Eve. Don't do anything bad out there, much less be looking for minors, because you got FM who's gonna hunt you down
We
along with
watching. If I'm not
Emmy.
watching, somebody's watching.
Thank you. Somebody's watching. It's a bird's eye every which way you look. So, or think of going. So make sure that you guys are safe out there for Christmas. And I finally have to ask you, FM, are there any final thoughts that you have for the audience, just in general, for me, whatever?
Again, like we just said earlier, just your kids need a parent, not a friend. Parents that have mental disabled children, please monitor them, because you are held responsible for them. I know it's a lot, but at the end of the day, you responsible when you're a parent. At the end of the day, you want to keep your kids safe, and you don't want these kind of charges on them. It's sad, but it's true. Again, clone their phones. You pay for it, you own it, it's yours. Again, thank you for having me, Anna, and I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And again, go help me spread awareness.
Of course, and I always share all his stuff. If you guys can't find him, just scroll down my page every time I catch anything, because Facebook really makes me mad with that. They'll give you 7 people you constantly see, and then all of a sudden you don't see any of those 7. You see a different 7, and it's like, what happened? I was following these people, or the people you want to follow, you just don't see their stuff anymore.
And
but
I forgot before we go. You know, when you Google my page, my YouTube page, and you go to videos, Lunchtime with Anna.
Oh, really? And he's so awesome, you guys, because he always gives me the props, and I just appreciate it, because I think I've been interviewing FM a little bit over a year now. Yes. So FM knows, and I told them from the beginning, once you start with me, you never go away. Like, you just have to be like, I don't want to do it anymore, because I will always have you around. I'm one of those. I keep loyalty to the ones that are loyal to me. Now, the last thing I wanted to tell you was, I just thank you, FM, for always taking out of your busy time and out of what you do, aside, from your personal life, to come up here and try to educate folks, because I think it's so important for people to see and understand that this is really happening. And we need more people like you to help stop them, because I think you've really gotten some good ones out from the streets, along with all the other people that do it. But like I've told you guys, I'm biased. I have one favorite, and I usually don't change. I don't like change. So my favorite's FM. So, with that being said, you know that I'm grateful for you. I probably know nothing new, or let's hope that nothing new happens from here to the new year. So, Feliz Nochebuena, Feliz Navidades, Feliz Año Nuevo. Hopefully, nothing would have happened by Los Reyes, y Los Reyes también. So what I said to him was, Merry Christmas Eve, because Puerto Ricans, we celebrate Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Three Kings, because those are four holidays we celebrate. So with that being said, FM, you'll be safe out there. A huge hug from Lunchtime with Anna. I'm looking forward to having you and your team come out here. I will be in Florida for sure when they're here. You guys will not know until it happens. And I can't wait to get the exclusive. God bless y'all. Bye.